everyone, Harris O'Malley from DrNerdLove.com. Today, I want to ask you a very simple question. What would your life be like if you weren't afraid of rejection? How much better would everything be if you could go up to people you were attracted to and not be afraid of being turned down? Maybe you'd be going on more dates, maybe you'd just be more social in general. But eliminating your fear of rejection could create a profound transformation in your life. And you can do this. You can learn to be absolutely fearless when it comes to meeting new people. It's just a matter of making a very simple change in your life. In fact, by making this change, not only will you be unafraid of getting rejected, but you will have made a transformation that will make you much more likely to meet and date amazing women. But in order to make that change, first, we need to understand why you're afraid of being rejected and how it holds you back. This almost always comes down to one simple issue. You have invested in that one person, often a person you have never met before just now, with far too much importance. And honestly, if you stop and think about it objectively, you would see it. Imagine if your best friend came to you and told you that he had fallen madly in love with this woman, and if he can't be with her and only her, then he is going to fall to pieces. Except he doesn't actually know her, he's barely even talked to her, and he didn't even know she existed before he saw her picture on Tinder or saw her on the bus or something. Incidentally, this is why I hate almost 90% of rom-coms and that f***ing James Blunt song. I'm fun at parties. But, the important thing is if she doesn't write back or agree to go on a date with him or just doesn't want to talk to him, then his life is over. He doesn't know her last name, her favorite color, whether she likes tacos, or what she wants on her pizza. But now she's the most important person in the world, and her not going on a date with him is going to throw him into a deep depression. Let's be real here. You'd think your buddy was going monkey shitting bananas for letting this destroy him. So why, in pluperfect hell, do you let the same situation affect you in the exact same way? The answer is that you are treating that person as though she were your last chance for love ever, and now you need it to go perfectly. And when you're treating every woman you meet as the one, and if you screw up, that means you're going to die alone, unmourned, and unloved, no goddamn wonder that the possibility of rejection is making you lose your shit. You've made being turned down into something so dire that you're doing the emotional equivalent of walking a tightrope, and on one side there's a pit of alligators, and the other side there's a sea of chainsaws, and oh yeah, the tightrope is on fire. It becomes impossible to separate your sense of self from the outcome because the imagined consequences feel so immediate and personal, even when 90% of the time getting rejected isn't personal at all. Most rejections have absolutely nothing to do with you and everything to do with her. She had a shitty day. She just broke up with someone. She doesn't date men. You're the fifth guy to hit on her tonight, and she just can't deal with that right now. It ain't personal, but it feels like it, because you've made this one moment impossibly important, especially when you're seeing this as your final chance to avoid dying of loneliness. And how can she not see that she's the only thing standing between you and a loveless eternity in the screaming void? Now, all of this is what's known as a scarcity mindset, the idea that something, in this case women, is a rare and limited resource. This belief is at the center of a lot of ideas that, quite frankly, f*** up your dating life. The bullshit interpretation of the 80-20 rule, that 20% of the men get 80% of the women, is a prime example of this. Somehow those imaginary men are hogging all the women and, I don't know, swimming through them like a Scrooge McDuck money bin full of tits. It's a root cause of needy behavior that kills attraction and drives women away, and it leaves guys terrified of being rejected because they believe that there is a limited pool of women to choose from, and each one telling you no is just one step closer to your vanishing in a puff of sulfur and frustration. Hey, buddy. It isn't true, but it feels like it's true. It's easier to believe because it confirms your fears, and so you want to believe it, even when it's actively damaging your love life and making you miserable. And yes, I'm aware that some people live in small towns where there is a relatively limited pool of single women. This still applies. The way that you work it is slightly different, and that's a topic in and of its own right. So if you want to talk more about how to date in small towns, throw a question for an upcoming Ask Dr. NerdLove into the comments. Those self-limiting beliefs are why the key to learning how to overcome your fear of rejection is to start breaking that scarcity mindset and cultivating abundance into your life. After all, it's hard to get freaked out by the possibility of someone not liking you when you know that there are literally millions of other women out there who are just as amazing, if not more so. Now, I know that a lot of you are getting ready to yell in the comments about how you try and get nothing but rejection, so how could abundance mean anything but more rejection? And the answer is that you're still putting too much emphasis on the importance and meaning of that rejection. It becomes about what you're not getting. You can't see past the negative experience of it. And honestly, that's not entirely your fault. Humans have an inherent negativity bias. That means negative feelings or experiences have a much greater impact on us than positive ones. So it's natural to feel like the negative outcome is so much more significant. Part of cultivating abundance and an abundance mentality is training your brain to look beyond that, to break those negative patterns and choose to look at the more positive side of things. But abundance isn't just about the mindset of, well, it's a shame, but there'll be someone else, so who gives a f***, though that is important. It's also about actually cultivating an abundance of people in your life. If you look at the most successful men out there, the ones who are fearless in the face of rejection, who have the fewest problems finding love or sex, they aren't the ones who stay home all the time. They're not the ones who only talk to 1 or 2 people a week, or who sit around complaining in subreddits and Discord chats about the friend zone, or inventing new and fascinating forms of phrenology to explain why they're still single. They tend to be the most social, the ones who talk to people and show interest in others. They're almost always the ones who seem to know everybody, even the waitstaff at their usual hangouts. They're the ones who are more fun to talk to because they actually like people. They're more comfortable connecting with others. As a result, they have more people in their lives and larger social networks. And that's important because despite how it can feel, the majority of people don't meet their boyfriends and girlfriends, husbands and wives via online dating. Most people meet their partners through their friends and social circles. Sometimes indirectly, they met at a party thrown by mutual friends, for example. Sometimes it's directly when a friend introduced the two of them. Having more amazing people in your life in general gives you more opportunities to meet amazing women in an organic and almost effortless manner. But more to the point, these men also tend to have lots of women in their lives. Not just the women they're f***ing or trying to f***, but women in general. They're not afraid of the friend zone, they embrace the friend zone. They're not the ones who are bitter and resentful that these women won't date them, and they're not keeping these women around as friends, angling for dates like nice guys. They're actively good platonic friends to the women in their lives. And that is a huge secret to their overall success, because it makes them rejection-proof. Their self-worth isn't caught up in whether any one particular person likes them, and if they get shot down by any one woman, it doesn't matter, because even though it stings, and rejection almost always does, they've got an abundance of awesome women in their lives who think that they're pretty damn great. Now here is where the difference comes in. The people who struggle the most with rejection tend to only give attention to specific women. And even then, they focus like a laser on the women they want to date. This is a mistake because it teaches you to only focus on loss. When they're the only women you're interacting with or trying to build an emotional connection with, then you've created artificial scarcity for yourself. You have taught yourself that if you're not perfect, you have no chance. Taking away that need to turn that one person into your girlfriend or just trying to get into her pants utterly transforms how you interact with her. You don't have that self-imposed fear of not being perfect because, hey, it's fine if you're not. You're freeing yourself to be real with them instead of being this artificial construct that you've convinced yourself that women want without any basis in reality. And as it turns out, women really prefer guys who are being their authentic selves instead of insisting that women only want Chad Thundercock. Crazy, I know. Now, I know a lot of folks look at the idea of having women in your life that you're not actively trying to bang and think that this is white knighting or that it lowers your value somehow. But in reality, it actually brings more women into your life. Women who are attracted to you and want to date you. The key here is that you're not just befriending women who you would never find attractive. It's to recognize that being attracted to someone and being friends with them aren't mutually exclusive. When you don't have the bullshit distinction between friend and fuckable, when you know that being attracted to someone doesn't mean that you need to try to have them, and you know that an erection isn't a commandment, you vastly widen your potential social network and actually cultivate the benefits that come from your having these women in your life. To start with, having more female friends. Friends who you find hot, even if you're not trying to bang them, makes it infinitely easier to talk to attractive women. Part of what trips up guys is the idea that hot women are somehow different from literally everyone else. They're not, but that self-imposed belief cranks the anxiety level from non-existent to apocalyptic. Getting comfortable with women in general, and attractive women in particular, eliminates the belief that just because someone's hot, they're inherently better, harder to relate to, or somehow just not a person like everybody else. Eliminating that imagined difference in value makes it so much easier to connect and relate with women on a real and authentic level, instead of feeling like you have to perform a complicated dance in order to prove that you're worthy of her. Instead, you're able to just be at ease with them. You can joke with them, laugh with them, and generally behave like their being hot is no big deal because, hey, it's not. This is gonna make you far more confident than the guy who looks at women and thinks good enough to be friends with means not good enough to f***. Don't forget, confidence is sexy. Similarly, having those women in your life means that you have more opportunities to meet other women. Your friends may not want to date you, but that doesn't mean they won't know other folks who would. And trust me, when you've got friends who care for you and respect you, they're gonna think about who they know that you would be perfect for and who would be perfect for you. That alone is going to increase your dating pool and help create a sense of abundance that means any single rejection will just dust off your shoulders. But there is another reason why having an abundance of women in your life, even when they are platonic friends, helps erase your fear of rejection. It's not because you're cool if they give you the "let's just be friends" speech. It's because of what having those women in your life says about you. Have you ever noticed how when you're in a relationship, women suddenly seem to find you so much more attractive? It's frustrating because, hey, where were all these women when you were single? But there's a reason for that. The fact that you have a partner changes how those other women see you. Your relationship is serving as a form of social proof, an indication that you're desirable as a partner because, well, other people clearly desire you. But it isn't just a case of jealousy or other people wanting what someone else has. It's that you have been vouched for. You're someone that women now know is safe to be around because other people have shown that they believe you to be safe. For all that it's axiomatic that women want bad boys, what women actually want is a guy that they can feel safe with. Attraction can't exist without safety. Love, sex, and relationships all demand physical and emotional vulnerability, and there are too many men who will take advantage of that vulnerability. That means that finding someone that they can trust and feel safe around is an incredibly high priority for women. And while having a partner is an obvious way of having someone vouch for you, having those women in your life who think you're great, even if they're not interested in dating you, is going to be a huge marker in your favor. After all, they have friends too. And when we need a recommendation, when we want to be introduced to someone, or we just want to know if we can trust someone, we look to our friends first. So by having those women in your life as friends, not only have you increased your social circle, giving you more opportunities to meet people, but you have a coterie of women who are going to be quick to sing your praises to people who might be interested in you. This not only increases the number of people you meet, helping you develop abundance in your life, but it means that people you do meet are going to be coming to this knowing that not only are you awesome, but that you're someone that they can feel safe around. They'll know that you're a genuinely good guy. That, in turn, means that they can let down their guard and lower those barriers that women erect for self-defense. And that means that the two of you will have an opportunity to be open and real with one another, to connect on a deep and meaningful level in ways that you often can't do with strangers. Bringing more people into your life gives you more opportunity to meet folks, both new friends and new potential partners. And those friends increase your pool of potential partners even further. This means that you will have a greater abundance of people in your life, helping you break that scarcity mindset. That abundance helps you become more confident and less afraid of a potential loss, which means that not only are you willing to take more chances and maximize your opportunities when they come around, but you are also much more likely to recognize a losing hand and to fold early instead of losing even more by trying to see it through. It is not hard to start developing abundance in your life. It just requires making the effort. You need to start building the habit of talking to people and taking opportunities to get to know them. Every day gives you a chance to meet new people or to work on connecting with the people you already know. I mean, come on. If you've already played the Persona games, you know how the social medias work. Don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean that you need to be an extrovert or some sort of social butterfly. You don't need to be comfortable in crowds or the life of the party. You can be just as effective in building those networks and bringing those people into your life by talking with them on a one-to-one basis. And not everyone you meet or talk to needs to be your new best friend. But being on good terms with lots of people builds those networks and provides the social proof that helps bring more people into your life. If this is something that intimidates you, I have an episode on building social skills quickly. Go check it out. I've linked to it in the show notes. Remember, the fear of rejection is ultimately the fear of loss and loneliness. But by learning to abandon that scarcity mentality and to develop abundance, you'll learn that you're not losing anything. You're gaining valuable information. When someone rejects you, they're just showing that they're not right for you. And so now you're not going to waste your time trying to win them over. You have been freed to go find someone who appreciates what you have to offer, and you can enjoy yourself instead of worrying about the feelings and opinions of one person, a person who ultimately isn't that important to you. By giving up that scarcity mindset, you're freeing yourself from fear. And when you leave that fear behind, you will be able to build the abundance in your life that will bring more amazing opportunities your way than you will ever have believed possible. Thanks for watching my video. So, you've heard from me, now I want to hear from you. How do you connect with the people in your life? What is the way that you've built your social network? Share your tips in the comments below. And don't forget, I'm answering your dating questions on the new Ask Dr. NerdLove series of videos. So if you have a short dating question you would like to have answered on here, hit me up, share that in the comments as well. Maybe the question I'll be answering next week will be yours. Meanwhile, if you want to develop the skills to make those new connections, learn how to talk to strangers, and turn people you've just met into friends and lovers, then check out my book, New Game Plus, The Geek's Guide to Love, Sex, and Dating. This is the instruction manual you have always wanted, the A to Z guide for learning how to develop and unleash your inner Casanova and find the relationship you've always wanted, whether it's for a lifetime or just the night. Links to buy it are in the show notes, so go check it out. And if you do check it out, or any of my other books for that matter, be sure to rate and review it on Amazon and Goodreads. It is a huge help. If you're digging the series, you know what to do. You've been here before. You know how YouTube works. Hit the thumbs up, ring the bell, like, share, subscribe. You know how this all goes. If you were really enjoying these videos, if you feel like you're getting a lot out of it, you're finding that it's really helping you, and you want to support the channel and in the process help fund some amazing new projects, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/drnerdlove. Even $1 is a huge help. It helps cover hosting and equipment costs, and it's like I always say, I can't do this without the help of my patrons. So whether you have just joined as a patron or you've been one from the very beginning, thank you all so very much. Meanwhile, follow me on Twitter at @DrNerdLove. Join NerdLove Academy at facebook.com/groups/DrNerdLove. And as always, hit that logo to subscribe, check out my other videos, and I will see you here next time with more about love, sex, and dating. Later.